love Brazil. I had many happy times I spent here.
Hola, how are
Oh,
you?
what a nice jacket that
Thank
is.
you. I bought it for this interview. It's a very special interview.
I had one like it, except it was green.
Olá, queridos e queridas leitores do Cinepop. Eu estou aqui com Francis Ford Coppola. Não é Coppola, como a maioria das pessoas sempre falou. Mr. Coppola, thank you for having me.
My pleasure.
I'm a huge fan.
Thank you.
Dracula's Bram Stoker was one of my favorite movies. My aunt brought me from the US a tape with no subtitles, so the movie helped me to learn English.
Great.
Which was a big deal when it had Keanu and Winona. And that scene with the werewolf chases Lucy still haunts me. I love that movie. And now we're releasing Megalopolis. Is it true that the Megalopolis city is inspired by a Brazilian city?
Well, partly. It was, I went to many places in the world that I thought had advanced ideas. Portland in Oregon, but also the city of Curitiba with the young mayor, Jamie Lerner, who had done so many innovative ideas to make Curitiba the interesting city it was, and a happier city, I thought. So yes.
One filmmaker has always been ahead of his time.
How do you feel about modern movies having its success based on the Rotten Tomatoes score?
Well, Rotten Tomatoes and CineScore and all of the very score system is a way to try to control cinema, which is art and shouldn't be controlled, by treating it like sports. In other words, we all know that in sports the teams play and some win, some lose, and that's a way to control whether the fans go. And since the modern movie industry wants to control how people go to movies because they don't want to lose money, they don't want risk, but real art has risk. I've often said that you can't make art. Making art without risk is like making babies without sex. It's not possible. You have to leap into the unknown, because that's where you prove you are free, which is another thing the film explains. And this is anathema to the modern system that is at work today. So the movie business doesn't want risk. They want movies to be like Coca-Cola, something you just keep buying the same thing over and over again.
Francis Ford Coppola. Comes an event nothing can prepare you for.
And releasing a movie these days is really hard because we're living in a superhero era. How do you feel about that, the public going to movies only for superheroes? Do you think Marvel is cinema?
You know, that's a complicated question. I think there's a lot of fantastic talent in Marvel pictures and admirable. But the purpose of art is to illuminate contemporary life, not to make money for people. So.
And do you think Megalopolis is a movie ahead of its time?
Like Apocalypse Now, Megalopolis is going to be seen for the next 50 years, which, by the way, Apocalypse Now and Dracula and all my movies have very long playing lives. I mean, Apocalypse Now is still a big earner, and Megalopolis will be for the next 50 years.
And you've been working on this movie for decades. Did you ever imagine you would be in Brazil today releasing this movie, which is a dream for you?
Well, I did imagine. I like that. I have always loved Brazil. I had many happy times I spent here, and I learned a lot here, and understand what alegria is.
And while doing Megalopolis, did you think about a sequel, or think that it tells the whole story here?
Well, it tells the whole story. I mean, the more you see the film, have you seen it?
Yeah.
Have you seen it once?
It's stunning, yeah.
See it the second time, it's a different movie. And the third time, it's a different movie. And the fourth time, it's a different movie. It's amazing. It's really like a little bit like Apocalypse.
And in the movie, the main lead can control time. If you could go back in time, where would you go and why?
If I could control, all art controls time, but if I could really go back in time in terms of our history, I would love to meet Cleopatra. Because Cleopatra, she was not beautiful, but she could make you laugh in 14 languages. She was a genius. I would like to pay my respects to Cleopatra.
And I would love to see a movie about it.
About me meeting Cleopatra?
Yeah.
I'd like to see it too, but I'm sure she would just wrap me around her fingers.
My plan is a city that people can dream about.
Megalopolis.
What do you think that you needed to tell the world the story of the movie?
Well, there's so much. I mean, for one thing, America was founded on the Republic of Rome because the people who were our founders all were educated. And in those days, education meant you spoke Latin and you were able to read Latin texts. So they thought that Rome was the perfect form of government, a republic, because Romans didn't want a king, and the American founders didn't want the English king. So we based our country on Rome, not only the Senate and the Republic, but also Roman law, which was the basis of the first law in the American colony. So I thought it was interesting to show that, like Rome, America was at a point now where it was likely or possible to lose its republic, because as you know, in whenever 60 AD, Rome lost its republic and became basically an empire or a kingdom, with Augustus being a kind of the emperor of Rome, and it's possible that America could follow in that same tradition. So this film was meant a little bit as a warning, but also to examine a number of ideas that I wanted to know why people did not understand that the human family, which we're all part of, we're all one family, are geniuses, and why they never say it. And of course, it's true, no other creature can do the things we can do, but we never say we're geniuses, and that's because I think people want us not to think that, because they want to control us and they want to basically have us buy their products or be sheared like sheep. And to come out like Megalopolis does, it says the human being is a magnificent creature that should be admired. They would rather we be a docile creature that buys their products and makes them rich and us poor.
Mr. Coppola, thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to talk to you.
My pleasure to talk to you.
There's still so much to accomplish, but is there time? Go.
Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis.